In 2003, Ratan Tata noticed something common on Indian roads. Entire families riding on a single scooter, sometimes 4 people at once, often in difficult weather. He wanted to create a safer and more affordable option, a small car for ordinary Indian families. His goal was ambitious: build a people's car that would cost around 1 lakh rupees, or roughly $2,000. The timing seemed perfect. India's middle class was growing rapidly. From around 50 million people in 2007, it was expected to reach hundreds of millions in the following years, creating a huge potential market for an affordable car. Then, in 2008-09, Tata launched the Nano. It was an engineering breakthrough, a genuine 4-wheel car designed to be as cheap as possible, at a price the automotive industry had never seen before. But despite the revolutionary idea, the Nano struggled to win customers. And less than a decade later, the people's car was gone. To keep the Nano's price extremely low, Tata's engineers had to rethink almost everything. They removed anything they considered unnecessary. The car used a small engine mounted at the rear, less steel, fewer parts, no power steering, just 1 windshield wiper, and even 3 lug nuts instead of the usual 4. These choices were a remarkable example of cost-cutting and clever engineering. But there was a problem. Almost every decision that made the Nano cheaper also made it feel cheaper. The car looked basic, felt basic, and lacked many features people expected from a modern car. That became one of the Nano's biggest challenges. The same engineering decisions that made it affordable also made customers question its value. This is one of the main reasons analysts point to when explaining the Tata Nano's failure: its positioning. Tata marketed the Nano as the world's cheapest car. While this attracted huge attention, it also created a negative perception among potential buyers. In India, owning a car is more than just having a way to travel. It is often an emotional and aspirational milestone. For many families, buying a car represents success, progress, and the feeling that they have made it. But the Nano's cheapest car image worked against that idea. Instead of making customers feel proud, the low-price positioning made the car seem cheap and low status. Imagine telling your neighbors, "I bought the cheapest car in the world." That is very different from saying, "I finally bought my dream car." Tata focused heavily on price, affordability, and features, but it failed to create the emotional connection that many Indian consumers wanted from their first car. The problem wasn't simply that the Nano was inexpensive. The problem was that Tata made cheap the identity of the car. And when buying a car is about pride, status, and aspiration, being seen as the cheapest option can be a serious disadvantage. Tata assumed that 2-wheeler owners would be the Nano's main customers. The idea seemed simple. People who own scooters or motorcycles would upgrade to a safer, more comfortable 4-wheeled car. But Tata misunderstood what these buyers actually wanted. Many scooter owners did not dream of owning a car that was simply better than a motorcycle. They wanted a real car that represented success, progress, and a better lifestyle. The Nano's cheap image did not match that aspiration. At the same time, people who could already afford a regular car had little interest in buying a vehicle known as the cheapest car in the world. They could afford something that offered more status and emotional appeal. So Tata was caught between 2 different markets. 2-wheeler owners wanted an aspirational car, not just a safer alternative to a scooter. Existing car buyers wanted a car that offered status, quality, and pride, not the cheapest badge. The bigger mistake was that Tata assumed what customers needed instead of understanding what they actually wanted. Tata saw the Nano as a practical necessity, an affordable way for families to move from 2 wheels to 4. But many customers saw buying a car as a luxury and emotional purchase. The result: the Nano fell between 2 markets. It was too cheap for people who wanted a status symbol, yet not aspirational enough for people Tata hoped would upgrade from 2-wheelers. Early versions of the Tata Nano faced several high-profile quality problems that damaged its reputation. A small number of cars caught fire in 2010, and although the incidents were rare and Tata quickly introduced fixes, the headlines created lasting fear among buyers. At the same time, many owners complained about weak engine performance, poor ride comfort, ineffective air conditioning, rattling interiors, and overall build quality. Together, these issues made the Nano seem unreliable. In a market where word of mouth strongly influences buying decisions, the image of a cheap car that catches fire was especially damaging. Even after improvements, consumer trust was difficult to rebuild. Sales never came close to Tata's target of 250,000 cars a year. The Nano sold only about 30,000 units in its first year, while its best year, 2011 to 12, reached just 74,527 units. After that, sales continued to decline. By 2012, the Sanand factory was operating at only 25% of its capacity. By 2014, production had fallen to just 3 days a week, while the factory sometimes shut down for 35 to 40 days because unsold cars were piling up. Tata tried to revive the Nano. In 2015, it launched the Gen X Nano, adding new features and using fresher marketing to move away from its image as a cheap car. Tata even explored an electric version later. But the damage to the Nano's reputation was already difficult to reverse. Production continued at a very low level until June 2018, when the factory produced just one car. After that, Nano production effectively came to an end. The Tata Nano is an unusual case because its failure was not mainly about engineering or ambition. Technically, it largely delivered what Tata promised, an affordable and practical car. The bigger problem was how people felt about the car. Tata marketed the Nano as the world's cheapest car, which attracted huge attention but also created a cheap car image. For many potential buyers, owning it did not feel aspirational. Production delays, early quality problems, and a mismatch between Tata's intended customers and the people who actually wanted the car made things worse. In less than 10 years, the Nano went from being called a wonder car to becoming a classic business school case study in failure. The biggest lesson is simple. People do not buy a product based only on its price or engineering. How a product makes them feel about themselves can matter even more.